Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and we're here at Frederick County Animal Control Center with adoptable pets that you may be interested in meeting or adopting or referring to friends. Frederick County Animal Control Center is the only shelter in the county. We have a room to hold 200 animals at a time, and we receive about 6,000 a year. So today you're going to meet 10 of them and see if we can make a match. Our first guest is Jada. Jada is a domestic short-hair black cat, as you can plainly see. She has beautiful yellow eyes, and Jada was found as a stray, but as is often the case with stray cats, she's quite friendly, she's used to people, very approachable, so we're pretty sure that she was raised by people and just became separated from them. It could be that her mother was an unspayed cat and that the owner did not want to keep the kittens. Or it could be that she was being fed and cared for by somebody and they did not know she ended up at the shelter. So if you do know someone looking for their beautiful, elegant, black cat with yellow eyes, please let them know she could be at the shelter. And otherwise, we are looking for a home for Jada. Jada is between 1 and 2 years old, and we color code all of our cats here blue, orange, and green. And the blue cats are the most affectionate and easy to handle, and that is how we've classified Jada. She is quite a lovely cat, and we hope to find her a home very soon. If you think she would make a good match for you or someone that you know, please come by the shelter and meet her. Our next guest is Oreo. Oreo is also a domestic short-hair black cat with some white markings and yellow eyes, but I think it's pretty obvious how different he looks from Jada. He is much larger. He doesn't have this sleek oriental look. He is probably about a 10 or 11 pound cat, and he is not overweight. He is just a big boy. The minute he came out of his carrier, he was purring and affectionate. So he is a very nice cat. He is 8 years old, and he was given to us by a family who found him. They had a number of other pets and couldn't keep him. They said that he hides from small children. So here in the shelter, we haven't noticed him seeming to be shy at all. But if you are looking for a pet that little kids would be able to play with and haul around, he might not be it. He certainly seems like he would be accepting of gentle handling from anybody, but we do have that information from his past owner that he will hide from small children. So, and then I'm sure, you know, after Mother's Day, there's a lot of moms who said I would hide from small children. So he might come around to gentle children, but we want to give out all the information that we have on any animals that we get so that you can make the best match possible. What we know about him besides his behavior with small children is that he also didn't like one of their dogs, was hiding from one of their dogs. So as bold as he looks here, he might have a shy side. So if you think that a cat like Oreo would be a good match for your family or for someone that you know, then please let us know at the shelter. Something's down there. And see if he would be a good match for you. Don't forget that we're open late on Wednesdays and Thursdays till 8 for your convenience, and hopefully for Oreos as well. I just don't see him as shy. We are back with our next guest, Kitty, and as you can see, Randy has been replaced by Brandy. No joke, that's their names. Brandy was willing to bring Kitty up. Kitty is a domestic short-haired white cat, obviously you can tell by looking at her, but she has lovely blue eyes, and one of the common traits of white cats with blue eyes is that they'll be unable to hear. So when Kitty first came to the shelter, you can imagine, she can't hear people coming down the hallway. She can't see anyone until they're right in front of her cage. She doesn't hear the dogs barking. She certainly can smell them, and she knows they're here. So it was a little hard for her to be in the shelter at first. And we were going to have her on the TV show last week, and when Randy went to get her, she said, absolutely not. So today, Brandy said she was willing to bring her up so that you could meet her. She is a lovely cat. Special needs for deaf cats that are indoor only are very minimal. You can teach them to come to a flashing light or a hand signal, and that works very well. And you really will notice very few differences between a cat that hears and a cat that does not hear, because they're very sensitive, all cats are, to you stepping on the floor in your house. They know you're coming because they feel the floor move. Doors opening and closing change air current, so they know when a door opens and closes, and then of course they can look. So it is not much harder to raise a deaf cat or care for a deaf cat than it is to care for a hearing cat. But she does need someone who is willing to understand not to sneak up on her. That would be hard on her if she doesn't know what's happening. So Kitty is 11 years old. That's another of the things that's important to know for her. Since cats can live 18 to 20 years if they're lucky, then she has plenty of time left to give. But some people don't want to adopt a middle-aged cat because they really do want to commit to their pet for the 15 or 20 years that it takes. Many people are wise enough to know that they don't know where they're going to be in the next 20 years, so an 11-year-old cat is not a hindrance to them at all. So if you would be interested in adopting Kitty, please come by the shelter and meet her, and we'll talk to you all about her, tell her what we know about you, tell you what we know about her, and you can take her home. We're back with Tiffany, and Tiffany is an orange tabby. She is considered a domestic short hair, but the hair on her tail is a little bit longer. She was a little scared when she came up here, so she was puffing it up. She has beautiful gold-colored eyes, and right now, because she's a little worried, her pupils are really big, so it makes her eyes look all the more lovely and Halloweenish. So Tiffany is here with her sibling. They were both given up together by some people who had them for 3 years since they were kittens, and they are both 3 years old. They can be adopted together or separately. Currently, we have enough space in the shelter that we're hoping that they'll be adopted together. A lot of times people come into the shelter and say that they'd like to get 2 companion cats, and we recommend either getting young ones or 2 that have already been together so that you can be sure that they'll get along over the long haul. Also, it can be hard to introduce cats that don't know each other if you are bringing them both into your house at the same time. For example, we recommend when you take home a new cat, you keep them in the bathroom for a couple of days so they can get acclimated and they don't hide somewhere in the house. As you saw Oreo trying to go behind our refrigerator, that's what they do when they need to control space. So it's easier when you adopt 2 cats that know each other because they can be in the same room together until they get acclimated. You also can certainly adopt 1 cat and then adopt 1 later, like 6 to 8 weeks. The only issue with that is that if your newest cat has no established territory in your house, you can have a little bit of fighting if the cat that's been there quite a while has already made herself or himself a home. So if you are considering getting 2 cats, it's best to get 2 together, and Tiffany and Precious are available. They look very similar to each other and are available at the shelter for you to meet. You can also find their pictures on Pet Finder and find out more about them, as well as all of our other adoptable pets. Where are you going? We are back with our last adoptable cat of the day, but certainly not our last adoptable cat in the shelter. This is another cat named Kitty. She's a domestic short hair calico, and she is 2 to 3 years old. And we found her. We were able to locate her owner through some of the animal rescues that work in the area. They were very helpful in finding her because she doesn't have a telephone. So, but she told us that she was not ready to take her back. She can't afford to take care of her, and it's a burden on her. So she relinquished her to the shelter so that we could find Kitty a new home. When animals come into the shelter, if they already have a name and we find out what it is, then we keep their name the same while they're here and offer that up to you. Cats certainly don't mind if you change their name, and often people ask if how to do it and if it's hard on them. First of all, cats and dogs know that we make noises with our mouth, and that some of those noises have interesting information for them, like their name or dinner time or to come for affection. So they certainly learn in any new home what everyone is talking about that has value to them. But another reason that they don't care when you change their name is because in a new place with new people, there's nothing that's the same. So if you wanted to change a cat's name, and if she was very responsive, like kitty, 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 she doesn't care. So if she was very responsive to Kitty, then you could change her name to Kitty Maggie, and then just drop the Kitty if you chose to keep her name to make it easy for her. But most cats don't require that. They're smarter than that. They realize what you're, if what you're saying is directed toward them. If you think that Kitty would make a good match for you or someone that you know, please come by the shelter and meet her, or share her picture around from Pet Finder or this episode of Pet Pals, and hopefully we'll find her a home very soon. We are going to be back after a short break with more adoptable animals, and hope you join us.
Hey, look at that large group of paddlers over there.
Yeah, that's that Parks and Rec group again. Nice bunch. They're out here all summer. They do trips on the Monocacy and the Potomac.
They sure look like they're having a good time.
That's probably because the staff is so helpful and informative. Anybody can go on those trips.
Well, what am I doing out here with you then?
I don't know. Neither of us can swim, and you keep sticking me with that hook. Hey, what are you doing? You're gonna flip the... Oh!
Oh, man.
If you're concerned that there is a party taking place where there's underage drinking or drugs being used, or that you've heard that a party is going to take place, there's a tip line that you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's 301-600-1318.
Before, addiction and depression kept me from living my life. And now, every step I take in recovery benefits everyone. There are many options that make the road to recovery more accessible. It begins with the first step. Join the Voices for Recovery. For information and treatment referral for you or someone you love, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back. We are back with more adoptable animals at Frederick County Animal Control, and our first canine guest is Ace, and Ace is a 1.5-year-old German Shepherd dog. Clearly, he is a really sweet dog. He's sitting all the way on my foot. He easily sat down when Randy helped him do that when coming in, but he's a 1.5 years old, so lots of energy. He had an injury to his leg early on, and it has been evaluated by an orthopedic surgeon who says there's no reason for him to have surgery on it at this time. And he doesn't foresee him needing to have surgery anytime. So it's good news for Ace. Ace has been here for a little bit of time while we found out about his leg. So he's used to being in the kennel. He's used to people putting the leash on, taking the leash off, collars on, collars off, handled by a lot of strangers. So used to other dogs. So he really is, he's doing very well. But a 1.5-year-old German Shepherd is quite a commitment because he probably, at a minimum, could run 3 miles a day. So if you're not a jogger, you have to think about how you're going to offer him that type of physical exercise. The other thing that German Shepherds need, as most dogs do, but all puppies in particular, mental exercise. So there's nose work for dogs if you want to do that. There's frisbee dogs. A lot of German Shepherds don't like to swim, so that's not always an option. But if he does, it's great exercise for them. So you would have to find the time and the types of things that you could do with Ace to help him grow up right. He's a great dog, very smart, and beautiful, as you can see. So for people who like German Shepherds, you know, he couldn't be more perfect. If you are interested in Ace, then please come by the shelter and meet him. And also, if you have questions about adopting a purebred like Ace, let's say you always wanted a Weimaraner. We have a wish list feature, so you can fill out an application, write Weimaraner across the top, and when we get one, which we eventually will, we will give you a call, and you can see if the dog makes a good match. And don't forget that we are open on Saturdays for the convenience of working people, Of course, if you do work 8 hours a day plus a commute, think twice about getting a 1.5-year-old German Shepherd unless you want to hire a dog walker or use doggy daycare and that type of thing. So if you are interested in Ace, please let us know. You did good. You did good boy.
Yeah. Your butt looks really good in here.
We are back with a study in contrast. This dog is the complete opposite of Ace. Her name is Pebbles. She weighs about nothing, and she is a little Chihuahua mix that we found as a stray. She was brought to us by someone who found her out in an alley, and she was really scared and hard to catch and hiding a lot. So while she's been in the shelter, we've had to go really slow with her and be gentle and encourage her to come. And Randy said when he went back, he let her come to him, and she did it, and he carried her up here. So she is super cute. One of the things that you should think about when you're adopting any dog is the traits that are common genetically with that dog. We talked a little bit about German Shepherds and their energy level and their size, of course. Then she has just as many issues, they'll just be different. She's tiny, so obviously you're going to have to accommodate her for that. If you are a person who jogs 3 miles a day, she's not going to be able to do that. So you're going to either need a backpack to carry her in, a stroller to run her in, or for her to not have to go along with you. Another thing about Chihuahuas is that they tend to be, oh, look at her little tail wagging. They tend to be homebodies. So when you do go for a walk, they're not likely to want to go 6 or 7 blocks. They're going to want to go around the block that's near your house. Some people have trouble house training a Chihuahua, and there's no inherent difference between a Chihuahua and any other dog. It's just that they're so tiny, people don't notice when they go, so they haven't been able to correct them each time and get them house trained. So if you would like to adopt a little dog like Pebbles, then we will talk to you about house training and make sure you get off on the right foot so that she can get her manners under her belt and be all she can be. We don't know what she is mixed with, perhaps nothing, but she has a pronounced underbite, which is her bottom jaw sticks out farther than her top jaw. And that won't cause her any problems. It makes her extra cute, but it's the reason that we didn't know if she might be mixed with another breed of dog that had that trait. So if you are interested in adopting a dog like Pebbles, oh, by the way, she's under 1 year old. She's probably only 6 or 7 months old. So we will go through our regular puppy process, which is we accept 4 applications and pick the best match for the personality of the particular dog. So let us know if you're interested in Pebbles or a Chihuahua in particular, and we can put you on the wish list. She's so cute.
I think she'd eat like a bulldog.
We are back with Finnegan and Fiona. And Finnegan and Fiona are brother and sister. They've been together their whole life. And their owner was not able to take care of them together any longer and gave them to a friend. The friend kept them for about 6 months and then brought them to us to see if we can find them a home together. Come here, Finn. Because they've been together their whole lives. They really want to stay together. And it's going to be a big commitment for somebody to say that they want 2 big dogs. We were told that they are part wolfhound and part boxer. They certainly look boxerish, and so if that's just someone's best guess based on their appearance, it's probably pretty good. But it's pretty hard to tell what a dog is just from looking. They could be otter hounds, they could be any kind of terrier mixes, but we got the information from the friend who brought them in that they are wolfhound and boxer. So if you are interested in taking on the challenge, they're 5 years old. If you are interested in taking on the challenge of 2 big dogs who already get along great and like each other, and they're also very interesting looking, then please come by the shelter and talk to us about double adoptions. You get a discount on the second dog, so that is helpful. And we have lots of information about them from the friend who was taking care of them, about their training background and things that they like. So hopefully we will be able to find them a home together, because Fiona really gets nervous when she's away from Finnegan. So they would, you probably can't even see Randy anymore. So they would really benefit from staying together at this point. They've been through a lot of changes. So if you are interested in either of these dogs or both of them together, please contact us at the shelter, and we will talk to you about what they need. What's the matter, sweetie? We're not going to separate you right now. You'll be together. So give us a call at the shelter if you are interested, and we'll try to find them the perfect match. We are back with Max, and you might think that we shouldn't have favorites in the shelter, but of course we all do, and everyone has different ones. Max is my favorite dog that we have here right now because in my childhood, one of the most common pets was Collie Shepherd or Lab Shepherd, and Max is exactly that. He has lived with a family his whole life. They take him camping, he goes swimming, he's good with other animals. They said he's good with kids. He prefers older kids. He doesn't like little tiny ones climbing on him, but he doesn't bite or do anything to them. He'll just go away. And the reason that Max ended up here is because his family lost their home. They had to move in with relatives who have two big dogs, and they just weren't willing to take on Max. It may not be a short-term situation, so he is as homeless as his family, which is what dogs do. They share everything with us, including that tragedy of homelessness. So Max is a great dog. His owner showed me that he can get him to howl a little phrase that sounds very much like rock and roll. And he's really a great dog that needs a second chance. One of the hard things for us finding a home for Max is that he is 10 years old. He was born in 2002. And sometimes people are turned off by that. They don't want to get a dog that they're only going to have for 3 to 5 years because they feel like that'll be sad to lose him so soon. But, you know, there are no guarantees. You can buy a purposely bred, healthy puppy from a breeder with health guarantees and can have a great relationship, and still you can lose your dog in 3 to 5 years for things that you never foresaw. So Max doesn't have 2 decades to offer, that's for sure. But, unless he breaks world records, there are 44-year-old dogs. So Max's only detriment is that he's already 10 years old, and some people may find that something they don't want to commit to. Other than that, he's a great dog. He's already house trained, he's good off leash. Obviously, if you're his new owner, you would want to get him used to you before you would put him in any kind of situation where he might wander off. But he really is a great dog, and he really deserves a second chance. Huh, Max? So thank you for joining us on Pet Pals. We have showed off a nice selection of the animals we have here in the shelter, but as you know, we always have many more that we haven't shown on the TV show, and we hope that you will come by the shelter in person to see everyone. We have rabbits, we have some snakes, we have just an unlimited array of animals, and as we've mentioned many times, if there's a specific pet you would like to have, we have our wish list service. So join us next time on Pet Pals, and in the meantime, you can share the link at the bottom of the screen with anyone who might be interested in any of the pets we featured today. You can also check out past episodes, and you can check out Pet Finder and find out more about the animals and send their picture around by email. That helps us out too. And as always, come by the shelter and see our animals. And if you are not able to adopt at this time, we consider just as much support from volunteer hours and or supplies like bleach or dish soap or old sheets and towels, dog cages you're not using. We will take any help we can get. We also have a food bank. And this week we will be at Weiss Market on Wednesday and Thursday at First Old Camp and then Spring Ridge. So hope we see you there. Thanks for joining us.